Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Tuesday, July 19th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is opening and reading of bids, of which we have three. The first one is proposals for description number 0902286, construction engineering for the McKinley Highway edit travel lanes, Birch to Ash Road near Mishawaka, Indiana. Sky, take it away.
Good morning, Sky Metters, County Engineer, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th, 11th floor of this building. We received today one proposal for this project, and this project is to be let for construction later this year. It is funded 80-20, 80 federal, 20 us. And we received one proposal from Lawson Fisher Associates of South Bend, Indiana. Is there anyone else that was planning to submit that has not yet done so? Seeing none, I would be open to answering any questions you may have.
Any questions, or is there a motion for acceptance?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Next up, proposals for description number 2101682, preliminary engineering and right-of-way services for bridge replacement on Walnut Road over Potato Creek, near Walkerton, Indiana.
Thank you. This is another federal aid project where it will be an 80-20 match for engineering and right-of-way for a bridge on one of our rural roads, Walnut Road over Potato Creek. We have received 5 proposals for this project. In no particular order, I have a proposal from DLZ of South Bend, Indiana. Another proposal from SJCA, South Bend, Indiana. Another from VS Engineering out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Another from Lawson Fisher Associates out of South Bend, Indiana. And then finally, United Consulting out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Is there anyone else wishing to submit a proposal for this project that I have not read off?
Are there any questions from the board, or is there a motion?
A motion to accept.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Commissioner Castelny?
Aye. Motion passes. Finally, bids for RNS 92202D maintenance asphalt overlay.
These are bids for paving miscellaneous mainline roads throughout the county. We received 2 bids. First bid I'll open is from Reith Riley Construction Company, South Bend, Indiana. Let's see here. Find the number. The number for Reith Riley is $5,108,511.85. That's $5,108,511.85 from Reith Riley Construction. The next bid we received is from Milestone Contractors North out of South Bend, Indiana. And their bid is $4,792,000. That bid is $4,792,000 by Milestone Contractors North. Was there anyone else wishing to submit a bid on this project?
Seeing none, if there are no questions or comments from the board, is there a motion?
One question, how many miles will that,
That was approximately 11 miles.
okay, and that's different areas around the county?
Yes. What we did is we went out and looked at some of the roads that had really taken a beating this year, and there was an appropriation of ARP funds to go and pave some of those roads.
Okay.
If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
A motion to accept.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Guy. Motion passes. All right. Next, we move to the commissioners' portion of the agenda. First item is the accounts payable docket. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion passes. Next up, some of the great things we get to do as commissioners, and that's to recognize the amazing things being done in our community by a variety of folks. First up is Citizen of the Month for May. I don't see them here, so we're gonna wait and see if they are able to make it. Next up, we have Business of the Month for June. Commissioner Dieter.
Business of the month, I don't believe there's a representative here, so we will also kick that back.
Oh, wow.
Sweet. Moving on to Citizen of the Month for June. Once again, Commissioner Dieter.
Mr. Caruso, stand by the microphone at the podium, please. Sure.
There you are. Yay.
Apparently you and our fine reporters from the media have the Hawaiian shirt memo. I guess that's a Hawaiian shirt. But anyway.
We talked this morning before.
Okay, it's not your turn to talk yet, so. So we'd like to honor Dan Caruso from New Carlisle, who's been a very
Yeah.
good person coming to every single commissioner meeting, whether it's here, the 7th floor, redevelopment meetings, any other county council meetings. So I would hope that people who may be watching or whatever, do what Dan does and comes, reads everything, all the agendas, is very attentive to detail. He's been a major, I wouldn't say instigator, but a major proponent of the IEC and let his opinion be known. We don't agree on a lot of stuff. Well, Andy and I don't agree on a lot, but still, we really appreciate his opinion coming out, and it's a lot of time and effort, and he's, I guess, the poster child of citizen involvement in government. So from speaking myself, and I'm sure the commissioners appreciate all the time and effort and all the questions that you have given along the way since I've been here for a short year and a half. Is that right? Year and a half. So congratulations, Dan.
I like, just a quick second, Dan, I'd like to just add to Commissioner Dieter's comments that, Dan, you are a fixture. You probably attend more meetings than I have in the last year and a half. But yeah, once again, we don't always agree. You've often been critical of me or the decisions that I've made, and that's great. That's how this process is supposed to work. You're supposed to help hold us accountable, and you do that. But you do it in a respectful way, and you make sure that your opinion is known, and you make sure that we look at other viewpoints other than the ones we have. So I greatly appreciate your dedication and service to the citizens of St. Joseph County, not just with the Board of Commissioners, with the County Council and other groups as well. So I really appreciate everything that you do.
Yes, I do appreciate everything, and I'm always glad to see you. So thank you for coming.
I won't go that far, for crying out loud, but
Thank you. It's nice to get involved in something. After you retire, you kind of just get around to doing yard work, doing a little bit of traveling, and this has kind of stoked the fires again, and it's gotten me interested in what's going on with my community, New Carlisle, Olive Township, and I appreciate the hard work that you guys do, a lot behind the scenes that people don't know about. That has to be done, and that your time in your lives that you sacrifice working for making our community a better place. And I thank you for this award, and again, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you.
And Kamo, he was first baseman on the softball team, too.
I think this next award is extra special, number one for the number of the players who are able to be here. But our youth of the month are well, I'll let Commissioner Dieter, I'll let you, or Fleming, I'm not sure who's doing that.
Let me, Deb can
all right.
take care of that.
Okay,
I'll
I
come
just
back
want to
and
say that I'm so excited that the Youth of the Month is, for June, is the Penn High School boys baseball team that won the state championship in 2022. Yay! And I'm so proud of our local high schools teams that win things at the state because they do such a good job. So I just like to recognize and approve them and honor them. Yay! So good.
Commissioner Dieter, and
Sure. Before we have the coaches, want to introduce the kids and all that. For all you players, awesome job. Keep working hard in the summer, but more importantly, make sure you thank your parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles who had to buy you the new trout shoes, the new bat, the new gloves, all the camps you went to, travel ball, all that stuff that you guys have done. So just make sure that you tell your parents or whoever helped you do that you appreciate it, because that's what's getting you to this. So again, keep working hard, whatever your future holds in the next level. You've got awesome coaches, especially the old cat in front who I've known for, I want to say decades, I guess would be maybe quarter, half century, whatever. There you go, pretty much. So, coaches, if you'd like to
I was
give a
just-
little
yeah.
talk about your team and your players, have
Yeah.
at it.
I was just going to suggest that. Yes, good.
I think Andy is going to suggest
Oh.
that also, right?
Yeah.
I was up in the air. I was up in the air.
First, I'd like to say thank you for this recognition, this honor today. Well-deserved. We have Coach Jim Kamakewicz right here, Coach Tom Stanton, and Coach Austin Fife. Very instrumental, the hours, very appreciative of the hours that we've all spent, in preparation for the ultimate feat that we accomplished this year. This game that we played wasn't a perfect game, but it was pretty darn close to a perfect game as far as fundamental baseball is concerned. And it was just a joy watching these guys perform everything that we preached throughout the season. For example, we had the first inning, Zach Hoskins singles up the middle. Then he steals second base. Cam Dombrowski does what he's supposed to do. He doesn't hit, but he doesn't get a hit, but he moves the runner, hits the ball to second base, gets the runner to third base with less than 2 outs, and he's able to score on a pass ball. That's our first run. That's manufacturing runs right there.
Good.
Our second run, we have Mason Campbell on third base, less than 2 outs. We want to put the ball in play. Yes, we want a base hit, but the most important thing is put the ball in play. Cooper Hums did just that, hit a ground ball. First baseman, Mason is able to score our second run right there. Our third run was Evan Tousley singles. He is a sacrifice bunt by Colton Hudnall, something that he worked on extremely hard the second half of the season, and he did it perfectly. So we get Evan to second base, and eventually Zach Hoskins singles him in from second base to score our third run, and that was pretty much it. We teach playing catch. We didn't make an error. We preach throwing strikes. Ben Gregory, awesome performance, 7 strikeouts, no walks. We had no errors. I mean, it was just good fundamental baseball. We had Ben Gregory receive the Mental Attitude Award. Zach Hoskins was a participant of the North-South All-Star Game, and we had 9 players from our team receive all-conference recognition. So truly, truly a great team, one of my better teams, obviously, winning to this point right here. We had Hunter Moret, Adam Lehman, Max Sanders, Mason Campbell, Ben Gregory, Alex Sherbin, Zach Pelletier, Colton Hudnall, Zach David, I can't see that far, Evan Tousley, Braden Schatzow, and Cam Dombrowski, all able to make it this morning. And again, the busy schedules, we've had a couple players out of town playing travel ball. We've had a couple ball players at football practice. So, getting them into this vicinity and is like herding cats,
I'm surprised Layman's up this early, so that's,
Exactly. He looks like he
Thanks for
just got
coming
out
down,
of bed,
man.
so we're happy that he's here. But those are our 2022 4A state championship baseball team.
So before we call you guys up, we'll get a picture. That'll be great. But I just want to. I've watched a lot of baseball games. Watched a lot of state tournament games. That game that you played in the state finals was as good a game as I've ever seen. As Coach mentioned, you did everything perfectly. It was amazing. And I also want to say, Colton, I know your old man is looking down and smiling a great deal at what you did. If you guys want to come on up.
Okay, big guys in the back, little dudes in front.
Line up alphabetically by height.
More 3-point average. Coaches, get up in here. Don't flip the bird here. Sweeps down a little bit. You like the front picture where you're turning?
Gotta go sideways.
Get everybody in. He goes over.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, everybody take one of these pins. You can proudly display it on whatever you want to. Good job. He wants a shirt, Coach. Work, Coach. Nice work. And make sure, hey, make sure we stick to old school baseball instead of Major League.
Coach, you got any extra shirts?
If you want me to do that, Denver Bronco ad routine, let me know when your spring training is up.
Now on to equally enjoyable items on the agenda. Moving to bills passed by the St. Joseph County Council at a public hearing held on July 12, 2022. Council took the following action. Bill 9222 was ordinance 8522, salaries for adult probation. Bill 9422, ordinance 8622, also salaries for adult probation. Bill 9322, ordinance 8722, salaries for the police department. Bill 10122, ordinance 8822, salaries for juvenile and probate court. Bill 9522, ordinance 8922, salaries for code enforcement. Bill 9622, ordinance 9022, and Bill 9722, ordinance 9122, salary amendment for the health department. Bill 9822, ordinance 9222, salary amendment for the prosecutor's office. Bill 9122, ordinance 9322, the monthly transfers and appropriations. Any questions or comments regarding any of these items? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve these ordinances.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion passes. Next, Move on to resolution number R12C2022, Project Honeysuckle Development Agreement. Mr. Brown.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christian Brown, Economic Development Specialist with Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth. Offices on the 7th and 11th floors of this building. Before you this morning is Resolution R-12-C-2022, which is a resolution seeking approval of the Project Honeysuckle Development Agreement. This has been kind of an ongoing discussion over the last couple of months with LightSource and a number of the local unions, council, redevelopment commission, kind of everybody. So we've now gotten to a point where we've kind of got agreement with everybody. This is for again, as a quick summary, 150 megawatt solar farm out in Olive Township, just north of the New Carlisle Economic Development Area. The idea would be to set up a new EDA and TIF that would be a single user. It would only be LightSource. And then the development agreement would essentially kind of dictate how the county and LightSource interact with the incentive piece that we've proposed. Darren Jacobs with LightSource is also on the call. I think he'll probably want to make a couple comments about the project. Just from my side, Redevelopment Commission passed this agreement at their last meeting last Tuesday, 5-0, and the County Council passed this agreement that same Tuesday, 8-0, with Councilman Nolan abstaining due to kind of his business ties. So any questions, be happy to answer them. We respectfully ask your approval of this development agreement. And Darren, I'll give the floor to you for a couple quick comments if needed.
Yeah, thank you, Chris and commissioners for considering this again. Not a whole lot has changed since last time. I think there's just a little bit of verbiage that the council requested, frankly, to make it even more more robust when it comes around the local labor piece. So the language and the EDA that's before you, I think, just again strengthens what you've already supported in the past with LightSource using 75% local labor. I will say that since we last met, LightSource has committed some scopes of work to 3 of the local unions. So the operators union, the the operators union, the laborers union, and the IBEW. We have entered into commitments with all 3 of those unions so that there will be workers from those 3 trades on this site. So happy that we finally reached a point with those unions, and happy to have those workers on the job. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but there's not really been a whole lot that's changed other than a little bit around the local labor piece, and then this agreement with us and the 3 trades.
Thank you, Darren. Any questions or comments from the board?
I'd just like to say it was good that everybody was finally talked to from our local labor people. I think out of the gate they were kind of left out on it, so appreciate all the work and things that happen in St. Joe County. Our people should have the first dibs on stuff that's going to happen here, so I appreciate that, and hopefully our labor people are good with that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Just to add, Darren, I appreciate LightSource's commitment to using local labor. I mean, and that's been from the very beginning. That was something that was deemed important by everyone. So I appreciate that. Appreciate working with the trades to make this happen. I think this is a great project for St. Joseph County. Once again, anytime we can create additional power, as we've seen even here locally, the grids are getting overloaded. So anything we can do to create clean, sustainable power especially is fantastic, and it's also great that we're going to see some local companies really reap the benefit of this work as well. So I think this is a win across the board for all of us here in St. Joe County.
Yeah, and I'm excited about getting this forward too, because I think it's going to be wonderful for our county and help our citizens. So great. Thank you so much.
Is there a motion?
There's a motion to approve this resolution for the Project Honeysuckle Development Agreement.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
I'm voting aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your Herculean efforts in seeing this to, at least to this point, to completion.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we've got approval of participation of Airport Authority, Solid Waste District, and Transpo, and participation of the county's Unified Health Plan. Barrister.
Good morning, Commissioners. Peter J. Agostino with offices at 131 South Taylor Street, South Bend, Indiana. The agreement that you have before you has been in place in a slightly different version for a number of years that allows local government, municipal units and political subdivisions to share in the benefit of the county's health plan. And the agreement before you tweaks the prior agreements in respect to allowing some refunding of money and prescription rebates. So in the past, when this agreement was first formed many years ago, it was heavily favored to the county. Over time, there's been some benefits that the county has seen in terms of receiving some prescription rebates. So this allows the participating members in this agreement to share in that up to $30 per employee per month, and then also allows some refunding if the participating units wish to take advantage of that, or they can allow that money to stay in the fund, the health fund. So I'd ask for your approval, and I can answer any questions. This is a blank form that will be used for all three, and also will be a form that will be used in the event that perhaps other units want to come back or join.
Thank you, Pete. I'd like to thank you for your work with this. Also, this is, I think, one of the best things St. Joseph County has done in my time here on the board. We found a way that even though it didn't hugely benefit the county itself, we found a way to kind of leverage our healthcare plan to bring other governmental unities or quasi-governmental unities on board to save overall taxpayer dollars and provide a higher level of care and service to each of those individuals as well. So thank you for your work. Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the participation of the county's Unified Health Plan.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Moving on to approval of amendment to the Gallagher Risk Management Services contract.
Thank you, Peter J. Agostino, and I'm still at 131 South Taylor Street. So this, in conjunction with the agreement you just approved, which is being handled by our consultant, Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, and specifically Robert Frick and Troy Scott from that group, who we're looking to extend their agreement 1 year over the current time period. They've done an excellent job for us in helping us maintain our health costs, and then also in handling these and overseeing these agreements we have with our participating units in the health plan. So I would recommend that we extend their contract. It's a fixed cost extension fee, so I think that's well serves the county to have that in place.
I mean, just in the last 2 years alone, we've seen a reduction in our healthcare spend. I would challenge most other entities across the country to be able to say the same thing. So I think this also matches up with our ACO contract better as well. So, any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this with Gallagher Risk Management Services.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion passes. Next up, release and separation agreement.
Peter J. Agostino, 131 South Taylor Street. And this agreement deals with the resignation of our emergency management director, John Antonucci, which is scheduled to take effect Friday. And this was negotiated in terms of allowing him a sort of severance package, if you will, moving on from his work with the county over the last 8 years. And And so we have to do these agreements in this way in order to fit within the statutory authority of the county commissioners to allow these agreements to take place. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Are there in fact any questions or comments from the board?
Well, I'd just like to thank John for his 8 years with the county and basically a lifetime of public service to the area, of all the great job, things that he's done for the community. So wish him well in the next step in his life.
Yes, and I agree with that too, because I've certainly approved all the things that he's done to help. So yes, thank you.
And I'd also like to add thanks to Commissioner Dieter for helping work through Emergency Management Agency and shepherd them to their successful next phase. And also thank John for a lifetime of service to the citizens of St. Joseph County and just our entire region as well. I hope he enjoys a well-deserved rest. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this release and settlement agreement.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Moving on to the Health Department. First item, approval of MOU between St. Joseph County Department of Health and Women's Care Center.
Yeah, good morning. Bob Einschers, Health Officer, County City Building, 8th and 9th floors. The Health Department has been working in collaboration with Women's Care Center to improve the health of mothers and their babies. Specifically, we're looking to embed 2 community health workers in the Women's Care Center to assist the women with access to resources such as insurance, health insurance, food, transportation, etc. We're asking for your approval of this contract.
Any questions or comments from the board? I want to thank the Health Department and Women's Care Center. They do amazing work in our community. It's great to see both of those entities able to partner up to help improve the quality of life for a large portion of our population. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this contract agreement with the Health and Women's Care Center.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion carries. Next, approval of agreement with Frisia,
correct, yeah. Again, Bob Einschers, Health Officer, 8th and 9th floors in County City Building. We are, the Health Department is attempting to implement, in the process of implementing, an electronic medical record, and Frisia is an add-on to that electronic medical record that will enable individuals to fill forms online, register online, et cetera, and will improve the efficiency of our operations.
Any questions or comments for the good doctor? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this agreement with Frisia.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to the Infrastructure Planning and Growth. Thank you, Doctor. First item is the consent agenda. I will note we have an irrevocable letter of credit, Blooming Meadows subdivision, also an irrevocable letter of credit cash in Bradford Shores Phase 2. We have 2 special events, Carter's Ride and Sweat the City. Sky, anything else we need to know?
Not that I can think of, only if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments regarding any of those items? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this consent agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion carries. Next, approval of change order number 1, final change order for S580S625-16, small structure replacement, S580 Inwood Road over Nespezani Ditch, and S625 Strawberry Road over unnamed tributary Nespezani Ditch. Mr. Sky.
This is just the final change order for this project. This project's been completed for a while. There were some final punch list items that need to be completed that are finally done. This change order will close out the project that ended up being about 6.5% under the bid price.
Any questions or comments for Sky? Is there a motion?
A motion to approve this final change order.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, professional services agreement, appraisal for 14402 Douglas Road, Iverson Grove.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Brown again, Economic Development Specialist with the Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th and 11th floors of this building. Before you are two acquisition appraisals for a property on Douglas Road. This property is adjacent to the Canadian National Rail line. I believe a couple of years ago, we applied for a local tracks grant to look at doing an overpass on this property. A lot of rights-of-way acquisition to get that overpass from a safety consideration between a rail and a road. The property owner actually came to us to inquire about purchasing, considering they knew that we were interested in possibly moving another grant forward for that crossing. So before you are actually two appraisals for that. By state law, we have to receive two appraisals. This is by no means going to be purchased at this time. We just need to know kind of where the numbers stand for a potential future acquisition at this point. Happy to answer any questions. Redevelopment Commission passed this at their meeting last Tuesday.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Will this still be considered for an overpass, or we're just looking at stuff now?
I think it's just dependent upon because of how close it is to the rail line. If it's an at-grade or an overpass, it would still probably be needed to be acquired to accomplish that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, first we'll take action on the appraisal from Iverson Grove. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you
Aye.
vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. And next, we will do the appraisal from Appraisal Services, Inc. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. Motion passes. Next, Professional Services Agreement, FJC Corridor Study Amendment Number 1, Lockmuller Group.
So before you is an amendment to an agreement that was passed back in 2020 with Lockmuller Group there were basically two projects to look at. At the time, the first project was in the IEC related to a north-south corridor that would connect State Road 2 to US 20. As we went through some of the environmental work on that, we thought our resources would be better spent looking at State Road 2, including Larison Boulevard. So the first amendment, this whole amendment actually doesn't change the cost of the contract whatsoever. We're just kind of moving money and amending some scopes of work. So part of it is going to be looking at State Road 2 along that corridor. There needs to be some survey work done outside of the right-of-way to coincide with a potential project with INDOT as they look at kind of a larger picture of the State Road 2 corridor. So some would be included in that, and so we're basically just changing the scope of work on that. The second piece of that is a kind of reflecting the actual cost on some environmental stuff we did for the new Carlisle Town broadband loop that's under construction right now, just reflecting the cost. There's like an $800 change to that. Redevelopment Commission passes at their last meeting last Tuesday. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there in fact any questions or comments from the board?
In the 2021, did we spend any money then, or that was just a proposal?
So we have spent to date, if I can find my, it's about, I think we've spent about $56,000 out of that total contract. So there's about $204,000 out of that left on the contract itself.
Do we get any money from the state since it has to do with 2 or no?
There may be some as we enter into an interlocal agreement. That project they're looking at is 2024. So just trying to understand how we fit into that. Lockmuller is doing work as well for INDOT on that corridor, so it just made sense to include some of the stuff with on that specific intersection.
I have no further questions at this time.
Well, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve this professional services agreement with the Lockmuller Group.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris. Thank
you.
you, Sky. Motion passes. Moving on to old business, there is none. Public comments. Are there any public
You
comments?
spoke earlier, sir.
I'm going to use the rest of my 20 minutes. Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street. I'm going to comment on several things. Just to thank Darren Jacobs, Infrastructure Planning and Growth, the commissioners, the council, Redevelopment Commission, for all the work that was done piecing this together. My friends from Labor who sat down and hammered out these agreements. Thank you for Darren Jacobs, Light Source, for being so amenable to change. I know it isn't exactly what you wanted, and I could see the frustration on Darren's face several times. But where I'm leading with this is what Chris was just talking about, IEC issues. Anybody considering bringing their business into that IEC core area or into St. Joseph County, anywhere, this is how it gets done. You sit and talk. You work agreements. You don't come and shove something down someone's throat and say, you're getting this, like it or not. The way this light source agreement was done for Project Honeysuckle is exactly how it's supposed to work. If you're going to come into the IEC and think you can just bypass working out these agreements with local labor, not caring about what the citizens would like to see there, not getting any input, it's going to be a frog march up the aisle. And I'm going to move off of that now. My 2 cents, if you're going to fix that intersection at State Road 2 and Quince, and there's going to be a lot more truck traffic there, you're going to have to stop the opportunity to beat the light. That's got to be a 4-way stop. There's got to be no question that you're going to shoot that intersection and beat that light. If there's a stop sign there from all directions, everybody is going to have to stop. There may be a little discussion or argument over whose turn it is to go, but you're not going to have these collisions at that intersection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Olita, 56475 Peppermint Road. Dan kind of stole my thunder. Appreciate it, Dan. Something he always does, but I do. This is how government works. In St. Joe County, everybody here that was involved in this project, speaking of Honeysuckle, put their heads together, noses to the grindstone, and got it hammered out. And the council, the lawyers, everybody involved ought to be proud of this, because when citizens have concerns, you all listened. And this is how government works, despite what's going on in the country with others. We work here in St. Joe County together, hand in hand. Might not always agree, but at least we listen and we work. So I'm proud of the work that went into it, proud of everything. Darren, we worked a lot together, so I'm looking forward to getting this thing started and moving forward. And then one quick note on the intersection there, it is down from our office. I've also wondered if maybe if you increase the yellow caution light going east and west by 5 to 10 seconds, so it gives a chance for a trucker to see that light and slow down in advance. Just my point of view from being at that intersection a long time and seeing a lot of near misses. So again, I thank you for everything you have done for the county.
Thank you. The only exception I might take is I don't want to give too much credit to the lawyers because, well, they get big heads then. Any other public comments from folks in the room? How about our friends on Zoom? Any comments? Hearing and seeing none, a motion to recess is in order.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Fleming, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Castelny, how do you vote?
Aye. We are recessed.
Recording stopped.
I think I'm just going to go to ND and give it to Deanna because she's...
Oh, he's bailing on us, so
He's taking advantage of... Okay.